The Chase Sapphire Reserve had a refresh earlier this summer, but with the higher annual fee and additional credits, it's important to do the math and make sure the card makes sense for you, your spending, but also the travel that you want to achieve. So today, we'll take a good look at the card, and you'll be able to assess for yourself whether or not it's a good option. Hey everyone, I'm Kwaku, your credit scientist, and welcome to my award lab, where I teach you the science behind miles and points. As we dive in, definitely drop a like and subscribe for more content like this. And if you know anyone that could use some credit help, then share us with them. So, starting off with the annual fee, it did jump from $550 to $795, but there was a host of new credits to help you offset it and hopefully come out ahead. One thing I like about this new card over the last one is despite the annual fee, it might be easier to offset it because you have a lot more credits. On the old card that was $550, you really only had a travel credit and also DoorDash credits to help you get that value back. So you might actually have a lower effective annual fee with this card. It all depends on your spend. So let's walk through each credit you can assess for yourself. If you're an existing card holder, one credit that isn't changing is a travel credit worth $300. This one is pretty broad. You can use it on the typical flights, hotels, and rental cars, but also on things like rideshare and cruises, and parking and tolls should trigger it too, so long as the merchant codes is travel. Note that things like in-flight and onboard services, excursions, and also RV rentals probably won't trigger it. Most of us travelers that look for cards like these, this one should be really easy to use. Even easier than other credit cards that have travel credits. For example, looking at the Venture X, its travel credit only applies to flights, hotels, rental cars, and I believe also vacation rentals, but only within the Capital One travel portal. So on the Chase Sapphire Reserve, your travel credit is even easier to use. Looking at the next one, you get $500 split into two semi-annual credits for $250 each. First day is booked in the Edit for a minimum of 2 nights. Hotels here do skew more upscale and prices can often be inflated and be much cheaper when booked directly with the hotel. So if you want to use this credit, make sure you're not paying that inflated price, and if you happen to be, then just discount it. Because hotels here do skew more upscale, I think this one's a bit hard to use for most people. If you are wealthier and paying out of pocket for nicer hotels is your norm, then you should be able to get good value out of this credit. But for most of us, including myself, this one's zero. Continuing on, you get a dining credit worth $300, split into two semi-annual credits of $150 each to use at Sapphire Reserve tables. There's options in lots of major US cities, and with the credit being semi-annual, it really shouldn't be too hard to use. It could be used for a nice date night or family dinner, for example. Even if you're away from these places, the credit again is semi-annual, so at some point you might be nearby and you could make use of your credits then. So in my opinion, this one's worth the full $300. Next up, you get complimentary access to Apple Music and Apple TV+. Chase claims this one's worth $250, so taking that to $99 monthly cost for Apple Music and adding that $9.99 monthly cost for Apple TV, multiplying by 12, we do get just over $250. However, Apple One subscribers can save about $10 per month by bundling these two services with iCloud and Apple Arcade. This plan costs $20 per month, so about $240 for the year. So I think that's a more accurate value of what this credit's worth. So it'd be nice if this worked with Apple One, but unfortunately, it does not. Now, my family uses the Premier plan, so we get 2 terabytes of iCloud, TV Plus, Music, Arcade, Fitness Plus, and news for less than $40 per month for up to 6 people, which is a pretty great deal. Again, it'd be nice if the Sapphire Reserve did work with Apple One, but it does not. So for me, this one's a zero. Next up, you do get some DoorDash credits, so $120 annually for Dash Pass and $25 per month for some DoorDash purchases. Dash Pass normally runs about $9.99 per month or $120 for the year, but they do have an annual plan that includes HBO for only $8 a month or $96 per year. So I don't think we can value this credit at the full $120. $25 per month for the other credit does sound nice, but it is split into $5 per month for groceries and then 2 separate $10 credits for groceries, retail orders, and more. Pretty annoying that it's split up like this, but you could use it for any meal or retail order you're planning on making anyways, and just do pickup. Just make sure what you're paying inside DoorDash isn't more than what you'd pay if you went to the merchant directly. Continuing on, you do get $300 in StubHub credits, again split into 2 semi-annual credits of $150 each. This one could be easy to use if you go to lots of shows and sporting events. I fall in that camp, but I tend to avoid StubHub. If prices across platforms are pretty similar, then I could make use of it, but for me, I couldn't buy this one at the full $300 because I don't use StubHub that often for ticket purchases. Next is $120 for Lyft. This one's split into $10 every month. If you use rideshare, pretty straightforward, and you get 5x on Lyft as well. Next is $120 for Peloton, also split into $10 per month. I think this one's a bit of an edge case, but if you have a Peloton, then great. Lastly, you get $120 for Global Entry, PreCheck, or Nexus. Okay, so not counting that PreCheck credit, what's our effective annual fee each year? So looking at our blackboard here, if we have the travel credit worth $300, the edit worth $500, dining at $300. And then for Apple, I'm going to use $240 and not $250 because of the Apple One deal. And then for Dash Pass, going to use $96 and not $120 because of the HBO deal. Then DoorDash for $300, StubHub for $300, and then $120 for Lyft and $120 for Peloton. And then taking away our annual fee, we are coming out ahead by about $1,500, which does sound good on paper, but is that realistic? Doing the math for myself, I'd value the Edit, Peloton, Apple, and Dash Pass credits at $0. I don't see myself, as of right now, paying out of pocket for those luxury stays and don't want to mess with those inflated prices, so that's a 0. With Apple, I already have Apple One Premium with my family plan, so this one's also a 0. I don't currently have Dash Pass, and I definitely wouldn't pay out of pocket for it, so also a 0. Also, no Peloton machine here, so 0. So looking at the others, I think I'd value the StubHub credit at about $50 because I don't really use them much for ticket purchases, and I doubt I would adapt to them just to use the credit. I think I'd also discount the Lyft credit by about 50%. I don't use rideshare that often, but when I do, I normally just use Uber as I have a credit there with my gold card. And I currently am trialing Uber One as a benefit with my Apple Card. Looking at DoorDash, I think I'd make use of the $5 each month for restaurants, but I don't grocery shop a whole lot, and messing around with two $10 credits each month just sounds super annoying, so that's a 0. And then lastly, I think I get full value out of the travel and dining credits. So doing the math, my effective annual fee is only $25, which is not bad by any means. So arguably this card makes sense for me. Unfortunately, I am right at $524. And there are some other cards I prioritize over this one, so it's a skip for now. Side note for anyone new, Chase does have this 524 rule where if you apply for 5 or more credit cards within 2 years or 24 months, then they'll auto-deny you for any cards you try to open with them. So if you're considering getting this card, it is smart to do the math like this, and make sure you're not throwing money down the drain. Be honest with yourself, like I did, and only put in the credits that you'd reasonably use. With cards like these that have tons of credits, if you can reasonably make use of all of them with your natural spend, then great. But overall, your goal should be minimizing the annual fee as far as possible, using credits that you'll actually use. Looking at the sign-up bonus, it can help reduce that annual fee in year 1. The current offer as of filming is 100,000 Chase points, plus $500 towards Chase travel after you spend $5,000 in your first 3 months. Pretty good offer, and those points are worth $1,000 after minimum, but if you know how to redeem your points effectively, they could be worth $2,000 or $3,000 or even more than that, but more on that later on in this video. The travel credit is nice too. It's coming out ahead in year 1. Should be pretty easy. Also, you could factor in that global entry pre-check or Nexus credit if you don't currently have it, but would pay for it out of pocket in year 1 as well. Note that Chase's offer rules have changed. In the past, they had their 48-month rule where you could earn a Sapphire bonus every 4 years or 48 months. People often played the upgrade-downgrade game in order to get it, but that has changed now. So if you have held this card in the past, you may be ineligible for a bonus now. Beyond all those credits, the card does have some pretty decent multipliers. You get 8x on all purchases through Chase Travel and in the Edit, which is nice as long as prices aren't inflated. And then 4x on flights and hotels booked direct. 8x on flights in the portal beats the Venture X and Strata Elite, but loses to them on the hotel side. However, 4x booked direct beats both of those cards, as those two cards only have higher portal multipliers. Compared to the MX Platinum, that one wins for flights booked direct, but Chase wins if you don't mind booking in a portal. You also get 3x on dining, which is pretty standard, but glad that's here. And then 1x on all purchases, so lower than the Venture X and Strata Elite, but on par with the MX Platinum. To get higher multipliers than some other categories, you could pair the Sapphire Reserve with other Chase cards like the Freedom Flex and Freedom Unlimited. The Flex earns 5x back in rotating quarterly categories, while the Unlimited gets 1.5x on all purchases, so a bit higher than 1x on the Sapphire Reserve. Both cards have no annual fee, and both cards have the same welcome offer as of filming of $200 back after spending $500 in your first 3 months of card ownership. So you'd effectively get 20,000 Chase points each. Not bad for a no annual fee card. And then if you have a Sapphire card, you can transfer those points out to partners, but more on that in a little bit. So that's all the credits and multipliers, but what other benefits are on this card? First is lounge access, and Chase currently has lounges in Boston, New York JFK and LaGuardia, Philadelphia, Phoenix, San Diego, and Hong Kong. Dallas, Fort Worth, Vegas, and LAX are all coming soon. I've been to the ones in Hong Kong and LaGuardia. Great spaces, great food, great drinks, good atmosphere, and yeah, I'd definitely go back. Sapphire Reserve cardholders also get access to the Etihad Lounge at IAD, and also the Air Canada Maple Leaf lounges on this list here when flying with Star Alliance. You also do get Priority Pass like many other credit cards. Nice to have, but can be hit or miss. You can bring up to 2 guests into Chase and Priority Pass lounges, and then 1 guest into Air Canada Maple Leaf lounges. look at some other benefits, you do get IHG Platinum status, which is one below their top tier, which is Diamond. With Platinum, you get benefits like reward discounts, upgrades, and also welcome gifts at check-in. Note that you can get Platinum status through IHG's Premier and Business cards, and both have an annual fee of $99. You'll also get access to experiences through Chase, which could include ticket packages and private experiences with special talent and artists. Sounds pretty cool, and I bet you could definitely find some cool gems on there. The card also comes with a number of trip protections, including for auto, trip cancellation, delay and interruption, travel accident, emergency, and roadside coverages, lost and delayed baggage coverage, roadside assistance, and much more. Down below the like and subscribe buttons, I'll leave a link to Chase's comprehensive guide of all these benefits. You can read the fine print and make sure to understand them for yourself before you travel, as this is not insurance advice. Spending $75K on the card in a year unlocks perks like IHG Diamond Elite status, which usually requires 70 nights, a credit for the shops at Chase, and also a Southwest credit and A-list status. Maybe I'm alone here, but these credits seem a bit lacking for $75K in spend. Like me, if I was going to put $75K spend on one credit card, I'd rather put it on Hilton Aspire, for example, to get those free nights, but if you're a high spender, they're there. The card also has no foreign transaction fees, and your miles don't expire as long as your account is open. So there's no review of all the benefits. Now let's talk about how to redeem all your hard-earned Chase points. One way is via a statement credit, and you actually do get 1 cent per point by doing this, which is higher than other credit cards, but not the best way to use your Chase points. On the old card, you'd log in 1.5 cents per point by redeeming for points in the Chase portal, but this is gone now and been replaced with what's called Points Boost. With Points Boost, your points could be worth up to 2 cents per point, which is pretty good, but this is not guaranteed. You won't find that on all redemptions, so not great in my book. Typically, you get best value by sending your points out to their partners. Chase has a decent list of these partners, all one-to-one. So for example, 1,000 Chase points can be turned into 1,000 United Mileage Plus miles, for example. Now on the hotel side, Hyatt typically brings really good value and is often the top choice for Chase cardholders. For example, if you're eyeing a ski trip around New Year's and want to use that $100K welcome offer plus a little bit more, you could book a week-long stay for only 18,000 points per night at the Hyatt Place Park City as of filming. Even with the advanced member rate, the cash price will be over $3,000. So doing a quick cent per point calculation on our blackboard to make sure we're getting a good deal, taking that cash rate and dividing by the number of required points for 6 nights, then multiplying by 100, we get a redemption value of 3.03 cents per point, which is phenomenal for a hotel stay and why people love Hyatt. On the airline side, Chase has some good partners here too. Definitely depends on the travel that you want to do, but Air Canada, British Airways, Flying Blue, Singapore, and Virgin can all be good options. It's also nice to have 3 domestic one-to-one options as well. If a video detailing how to find redemptions with Chase points for air travel, but also more hotel examples will be helpful, then let me know down below. I'll also leave links down below the like and subscribe buttons to some award search tools that I've used in the past that have helped with my searching. So there's no review of the Chase Sapphire Reserve. It's definitely a really good card if you can reasonably use a good chunk of the credits, and also if you have lots of travel spend, but if you don't, or if you struggle to use the credits, then maybe skip it. If you're still watching this video, leave a snowman emoji, and I'll try to like it and respond. If you have the old version of this card, let us know if you're keeping it, downgrading it, or canceling it and moving on to something else. Ask any questions down below too. I'm always here to help. As always, I want to thank you all for joining me in my award lab. I'm Quaku, your credit scientist, and I'll see you all in the next one.